I'm Richard Morrison, 70 years old now. But the man I am today was truly born the year I turned 50.
There are some things you can't learn when you're young, not because you're not smart enough, but because pain needs time to ripen into wisdom. I spent half my life holding tight to things I thought mattered, and it took me 50 years to understand sometimes letting go is the only way to truly live. These are 5 things I wish I'd known sooner. If you're younger than 50, remember what this old man tells you. On my 50th birthday, I sat alone in my CEO office, a position I'd worked 30 years to earn. On the walls hung certificates, awards, newspaper articles about me. I stared at the photo of my father on my desk. He'd been dead 15 years, and I was still trying to prove something to a man who wasn't here anymore. My father was an engineer. He wanted me to follow in his footsteps. When I chose business, he said nothing, but his eyes said it all. This kid's going to fail. Every time business got tough, I heard my father's voice. I told you so. Every success, I wished he was alive to see it. Every important decision, I asked myself, would Dad be proud? For 30 years, I built my company, not because I loved it, but because I needed to win an argument with a ghost. That day, I realized a painful truth. My father would never say, "Well done, son." Not because he was dead, but because even when he was alive, he wasn't the kind of man who said things like that. I'd wasted 3 decades chasing the approval of a man who didn't even know how to approve of himself. You can't win an argument with the dead, whether it's my father or anyone else you think you'll triumph over through success. You can only choose to stop arguing. The only person you need to make proud is the man in the mirror, today's man, not the man in your memories. That's what it means to let go of proving yourself to someone. When I was 52, I stood before 200 employees announcing plans to expand into 10 new states. Everyone applauded. I smiled. That night, I couldn't sleep, feeling like I was suffocating. At 25, I dreamed of building a business empire. It was a real dream full of passion, full of meaning. 30 years later, that dream came true. But somewhere along the way, I changed. The dream didn't. I no longer wanted bigger offices. I wanted mornings fishing with my 8-year-old nephew. I wasn't excited about million-dollar deals anymore. I got excited teaching my brother how to sail a boat. But how could I stop? I'd invested 30 years. 200 people depended on me. Everyone knew me as the successful boss. If I walked away, who was I? I was scared. Not of failure, but of admitting I'd succeeded at the wrong thing. It took nearly 2 years to find the courage to resign. When I announced my decision, people thought I was crazy. Walking away at the top? They didn't understand I wasn't giving up success. I was escaping a prison I'd built myself. Your dreams at 25 are allowed to no longer fit at 50. You don't owe the past your loyalty. Courage isn't clinging on. Courage is knowing when to let go and find what truly matters. That's letting go of dreams you no longer want. I hated my ex-wife for 18 years. Sarah left me when I was 32. She left me for her boss, a man richer, more successful, probably better looking. She left when our daughter was only 5 years old. I wasn't just hurt. I was filled with hatred. Every time I dropped my daughter off at Sarah's house and saw their big, beautiful home, I felt insulted. Every time I saw Sarah smiling in Facebook photos, I hoped she was miserable. Every time I thought of her, my heart raced, not with love, but with rage. I spent 18 years nurturing that anger, as if being angry long enough, strongly enough, would bring justice, as if my pain could punish her. But she lived well. And me? I carried a heavy stone for 18 years. When I was 50, my daughter Emma, 23, was getting married. She came to my house, sat down, and said, "Dad, I want both you and Mom at my wedding. I know you don't like Mom, but I don't want my special day to be a day when you and Mom avoid each other." I looked at my daughter, this beautiful, kind young woman, and suddenly realized my anger wasn't just hurting me, it was hurting the child I loved most. For 18 years, I thought I was protecting my dignity, but actually, I was letting anger control my life. I let Sarah occupy space in my heart, not with love, but with hatred. And in those 18 years, I couldn't love anyone else completely. At Emma's wedding, I shook Sarah's hand. I didn't hug her. I didn't say it's all in the past, but I no longer trembled standing next to her. Forgiveness doesn't mean they were right. Doesn't mean you forget. Forgiveness is deciding to stop giving them free rent in your mind. The person who gets freed when you forgive is you. I used to think a good father was someone who was never weak. After Sarah left me, I raised Emma alone. I worked 3 jobs. I never missed a parent-teacher conference. I cooked, did laundry, checked homework. I was a superhero. But I never cried in front of Emma. Never said Dad's tired. Never admitted Dad doesn't know what to do. I thought if she saw me weak, she'd lose faith. The result? Emma grew up not knowing how to share emotions. When Emma was 16, her best friend died in a car accident. Emma didn't cry. She went to the funeral, came home, did her homework, like nothing happened. I said, "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," Emma answered. Exactly how I'd answered everyone for 16 years. 2 weeks later, I found Emma sitting in the garage, hugging her knees, trembling but not crying. I sat down next to her. She said, "You're disappointed when I'm this weak, aren't you?" My heart shattered. "Why do you think that?" "Because you're never weak. You're always strong. I have to be too." That's when I realized I'd taught my daughter the wrong thing. I taught her how to hide, not how to heal. I pulled Emma into my arms, and for the first time in 16 years, I cried in front of my child. We sat there, both crying. In the first time, we were truly father and daughter, not perfect, but real. Children don't need you to be a superhero father. They need a real father, someone who knows strength but also weakness, who knows how to teach but also how to learn, who knows how to stand firm but also how to kneel. When you show your children you're human, you teach them how to be human. When I was 53, I met Jennifer at a coffee shop. She was 48, widowed for 3 years, smiling as she ordered a cappuccino. Something about that smile made me want to know more about her. But I did nothing. I was 53 years old. Who wants to start over at this age? For 20 years after Sarah left me, I didn't date seriously. A few casual dates, but nothing real. I told myself I was too busy. But the truth? I was scared. Scared of rejection. Scared of getting hurt again. Scared that at 53, my last chance at happiness had passed. I saw Jennifer at that coffee shop 3 times in a month. Each time, I wanted to talk. Each time, I found reasons not to. She probably has someone. I'm not good enough. It's too late. The 4th time, Emma came with me. She saw me looking at Jennifer and smiled softly. "Dad, you're 53, not 93. Do you know Ellen from my company is getting married? She's 58. Come on, Dad." I looked at my daughter, just shaking my head, too old for this. I'd gotten used to life without a woman in the house. But Emma said, "So you taught me something you haven't done yourself?" I stood up, heart pounding like a drum. I walked to Jennifer's table, hands trembling. "Excuse me, I've seen you here many times. My name is Richard." Jennifer smiled, the warmest smile I'd ever seen. "I know. I've seen you too." We married 2 years later. Today, 15 years later, I'm 70, and every morning I wake up next to Jennifer. I thank my 3-year-old self for being brave enough to walk across that coffee shop that day. Too late is a lie you tell yourself. 50 isn't the end. It's the halfway point with wisdom that 20 doesn't have, with freedom that 30 doesn't have, with clarity that 40 doesn't have. The only thing worse than starting over at 50 is reaching 70 and regretting that you never started. Today, I'm 70 years old, gray hair, aching knees, can't climb mountains anymore. But I'm free. Free from the obsession with proving myself. Free from dreams that aren't mine anymore. Free from anger that corrodes the soul. Free to love completely. Turning 50 didn't give me all the answers, but it gave me the right question: what truly matters? And when you let go of things that don't matter, you make room for things that do. If you're 50 and reading this, you're not late. You're right on time. Right on time to let go. Right on time to start again. Right on time to live authentically. And if you're not 50 yet, don't wait until 70 or longer or never to realize these things. Learn from my mistakes.
Live the life you truly want. Today, keep following my stories and tell me yours too.